Hey, it's Wes, and today I want to talk about something that I see on the internet quite a bit. I see in the forums, in the Godox user group, how to take care of your Godox lithium-ion rechargeable batteries. This applies to Strobe Pro, Flashpoint, all the other products that are essentially identical. They're made by Godox. A lot of people have trouble with these batteries. First of all, I'm not going to say that these are the highest quality lithium-ion batteries that you can purchase. But I will say that there are things that you can do to make these batteries last and work better and longer for you, your photography, and your business. What do I know about batteries? Well, I have a diploma in electrical engineering technology, and my focus on those studies was alternative energy systems, and we actually studied batteries, charge, discharge, in quite a bit of detail, from the electronics to the chemical, and all of that stuff in between. So let's talk about that. How do we keep these from blowing up and letting you down on the job? So I have all these Godox batteries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 batteries. I've had many of these for years. Some of these batteries, like my V860 Mark II batteries, have probably had somewhere between 60 and 100 charge cycles on them. Still working great. 8200 batteries. Most of these are probably pushing 50 to 60 charge cycles, even though I have spares. And 8600 Pro battery, I'm probably at about 60 or 70 charge cycles on this one too. And I don't necessarily use these batteries easy either, but every single one of them still works. I have never had a Godox battery fail on me yet, which makes me wonder how so many people have such bad luck. It's because they don't follow the rules laid out in the Godox manuals and best practices for lithium-ion batteries. You have to treat these pretty gingerly, I'm afraid to say, because they're not the most advanced batteries. They don't have charge leveling between the cells. Their charge controllers aren't the most advanced. But if you follow these rules, these 5 rules that I have, these are going to do a much better job of lasting and working well and not letting you down. You might think some of them are silly, that's fine, but these are the best practices based on general lithium-ion principles and information from the Godox manuals. Not even all the manuals have all the same things, so you kind of have to go through all of them to get all the information. Number 1, when you are done with your photo shoot, taking pictures, take your battery back out of your flash. I know, it's easier to keep them in, but if you leave them in, sometimes there is some current being leached out, a little bit of load, and it can drain these batteries down. And when we get to number 5, we'll talk about why you don't want that to happen. So in any case, when you're done shooting, take the battery out of your flash. That's the safest way to store it. Put it in one of these storage cases. Don't store it in any metal. Don't store it in a damp place. Cool, dry location like any battery. Number 2, don't store them fully charged. When you're done your photo shoot, don't just stick this on a charger, put it to 100%, and then stick it in the box. Check to see how much charge it has by popping it on the charger for a moment. If it's about 50%, that's great. Put it away. If you have a photo shoot the next day, sure, charge it up and then use it the next day. But if you're not going to be using it immediately, leave it at about half a charge. Somewhere between 50 and 80% is great for storing these batteries. That will help the cells last longer. If it's at 0, charge it up a bit, then put it away. Number 3, don't overheat your batteries. Now this can mean a few different things. Well, I've seen stories of people leaving these batteries in their cars on a hot day. It gets to 130 degrees Fahrenheit in their car. These things catch on fire. That's lithium-ion in general, and especially big lithium-ion cells. Don't let them get hot. Try to keep them in a cooler location. Now, sometimes when you're running your flashes, they'll heat up in the flash. That's fine, it has to happen. They'll cool down eventually. But one thing that people don't think about is immediately after you have used your flashes, say you're working in a studio, and pop, 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 you've been using your flash like crazy, and it is hot. Don't put it on the charger right after using it when the battery is still hot, because that's just going to build up more heat inside the battery and continue to damage those cells. Let the battery cool down and then charge it. Might be a pain, but that'll make your battery last longer. Number 4, you see this all the time, and I think it is the number 1 reason why these batteries fail prematurely. Don't leave it on the charger. Once you've got this battery charged up to 100%, take it off the charger and put it in the flash and go shooting. Or take it off the charger and leave it aside until your photo shoot. which presumably, because you followed these steps, is very soon, maybe the next day. Don't spend year-round with your battery sitting in the charger on the ready. I know that's the most convenient thing to do, but it's not the safest thing for the battery, and honestly, it's not the safest thing for your life. I used to work in fire protection, and I hate seeing people leave batteries on chargers all day, every day. Even without what I know about lithium-ion battery health, you never leave batteries charging all the time, even boring nickel-cadmium, nickel metal hydride batteries. You charge them up, you take them off the charger, you put them somewhere safe. So many people's houses and apartments and businesses have burned down just because they've left batteries on chargers. They eventually heat up, or the structures inside break down, and they will catch fire. Yes, maybe you've done it a lot before, but stop doing it immediately. Additionally, make sure there's a smoke detector in the room where you charge these batteries. I won't ask you to take the extra step that I take. I never charge batteries when I'm not in the same room with them. I know, it's paranoid, but again, I used to work in fire protection. I've seen so many fires that were caused by charging batteries. So when I'm editing, I put my batteries on the charger, and then when I'm done editing, even if they're not fully charged yet, I still shut them down and go to bed. I get up the next morning, put them back on while I'm eating breakfast. It's just how I operate. It's the safest way to be. Anyway, that's not necessarily the best way to charge your batteries. Number 5, our last rule, don't let them run totally dead. If your battery is running low in your flash or your camera, say you're at 10-20%, approximately speaking, take it out, put a new battery in. I know, you're tempted to run it right down, and there used to be an old battery rule with nickel metal hydride batteries that you're supposed to run them down and back up to 100% occasionally. That doesn't really apply to lithium-ion batteries so much. It's actually safest and best to only run them down to 0 when absolutely necessary. If you run these down to 0, especially these bigger 8600 batteries, there's a chance that they'll just stop working entirely. The charge controllers will no longer recognize the cells because the voltage isn't high enough to be recognized by their programming. So try not to let them go all the way down to 0. If that means getting an extra battery to bring along with you and swap it out a little sooner, then do that. It's safer to have 2 batteries on you anyway, because then if you do run out, you've got one right there and you're not stuck in a panic. So don't let them go all the way down to 0 before charging them. Generally speaking, with lithium-ion cells, anytime you hit close to 0 or even close to 100% actually causes a minute amount of damage inside the chemistry of the battery. I know, that sounds weird. Every time you charge your cell phone, every time you charge your Godox battery to 100%, it weakens it just a little bit and brings it closer to its eventual demise. If you want a bonus rule that kind of leads from that, always carry a spare. Even if you don't think you're going to need one, sometimes batteries fail, sometimes they eventually reach the end of their lifespan, and what you thought was a 50% charge will suddenly drop down to 0. So, those are my 5 rules for keeping your Godox batteries working fresh, working long, and being reliable for you in your photography. If you have any other suggestions, leave them down in the comments. If you have any questions about these rules, leave them in the comments, and I'll get back to you. If you think any of these rules are ridiculous, let me know. But I am pretty sure that this is the best way to keep your flashes flashing reliably into the future and not lighting your house on fire. That's a bonus. So, until next time, let's go take some photos.